On a stormy, rainy day, she witnessed her beloved boy being hit by a car and disappearing into the rain, barely alive. The car stopped in front of her, distraught, and a man stepped out. Dressed in a suit, his steps were composed as he slowly walked towards her. Just as he had when they first met years ago. Jasper, why? For the first time, Luna questioned that man, that devilish man, and rebelled. The man's voice, however, was calm and clear, piercing her ears like an icy blade through her heart. How does it feel to see your beloved suffer such a horrific fate before your eyes, Luna? I hate you. Those 3 words, etched on her youthful yet increasingly beautiful face, were filled with stubbornness and resentment. The man smiled, a smile as dangerous and deadly as ever. Anything you, Luna, like, I will destroy without hesitation. On her 14th birthday, Uncle Troy gave Luna a Barbie doll. It was a beautiful doll with beautiful, jet black curly hair, big eyes, and a sweet smile. That day, however, Mr. Jasper drank heavily and became completely drunk. She was walking back to her room, clutching her beloved Barbie doll, when she encountered the drunk man in the empty square. The moment she saw him, she instinctively wanted to walk around him, but seeing him sitting alone, drunk by the fountain, she inexplicably turned slightly and walked towards him. Even more so, he looked vulnerable and pained. So, even such a terrifying devil had a vulnerable side. Although drunk, Jasper still spotted the figure walking towards him from afar. As often as before, a gentle breeze ruffled her long, straight, jet black hair. Her deep, misty eyes were fixed on the Barbie doll in Luna's hands. After a few seconds of silence, Jasper suddenly looked up, pulled Luna close, and kissed her deeply. Luna froze, her beautiful, glassy eyes widening as she stared at the handsome face so close to hers. No, Jasper, no. She wanted to say that, but no sound came out. The man's kiss was hot and deep, almost frantically engulfing her when she was completely unprepared. It was her first kiss, cruelly stolen by a devil on what should have been a beautiful birthday night. In her blank mind, she vaguely heard the man murmuring something. Like a name. She stopped going to school and began receiving special education and training in the Jasper family's private domain. Shooting training started with stationary targets, then moved animals, and later even criminals who had offended the Jasper family. And that devilish man watched from the sidelines. At 16, Luna finally resolved to escape. However, she overestimated her abilities. No, to be precise, she underestimated the demon's power. She barely escaped the manor, only to be captured and brought back by him and his men in less than half a day. Jasper carried the runaway girl, now blossoming like a datura flower, his usually deep eyes chillingly cold. In the hallway, he casually kicked open a door, slammed it shut, and swiftly threw her onto the bed. It was late at night, and the room was dimly lit, with only a few slivers of moonlight filtering in through the window. Before she could struggle, he pressed down on her, pinning her beneath him. For the first time, Luna faced Jasper without fear. Her usually clear, glassy eyes even held a hint of defiance. She had grown taller, her body more developed, her curves now more defined. Her signature straight, jet black hair was even smoother, reaching her waist, cascading like a waterfall in the breeze. And her face was no longer so childish. The slowly transforming beauty was alluring and deadly. Jasper, why are you doing this to me? Knowing resistance was futile, Luna gave up, staring intently at his handsome, cold face, asking this question for the first time in 6 years. Luna, very well. Tonight, I'll show you what it means to wish you were dead. Then, let's see if you beg or stubbornly defiant. Because in those deep, dark eyes, she clearly saw a slowly rising storm, carrying a deadly ruthlessness. However, she clenched her fists, remaining silent. Leaving behind those chilling words, Jasper got up, walked to the liquor cabinet, picked up a bottle, and then returned. Luna sat up, watching him pull out the cork, raise the bottle, and gulp down the strong liquor. Immediately, he moved towards the bedside. Luna instinctively moved back, but he grabbed her wrist and pulled her back to the bed. Before she could struggle, a passionate kiss landed, locking her lips in a deep lock. No! As the strong liquor was forced into her mouth, Luna instinctively resisted, her face quickly turning red. Jasper, sensing her resistance, finally released her. Perhaps because of the alcohol, his dark eyes were already red. Watching the liquor spill from Luna's lips, he mercilessly gripped her chin. Swallow it. But Luna still resisted, seemingly having an innate aversion to strong liquor. During that hot, intense kiss, she coughed rapidly. Cough, cough, no. Damn it. Finally, Jasper lost his patience. He swallowed the drink himself, his dark eyes turning even redder, as if he were about to succumb to bloodlust. Released, Luna gasped for breath and coughed, not yet calming down. Before being pinned down by his tall, muscular body. Rip. Jasper roughly tore open Luna's clothes. A chill ran through her, and Luna struggled desperately, her voice already hoarse. Don't resist. He spat out a harsh word, his movements becoming even more brutal. Luna was only wearing a dress, which was quickly torn to shreds, even her sexy underwear. Humiliation and unbearable shame enveloped her. She closed her eyes tightly, refusing to look at the man's cruel and heartless face. He picked up the bottle of liquor from the bedside table. A cruel and ruthless smile spreading across his face before violently swinging it. Crash! The bottle shattered against the table, spilling strong liquor and filling the air with its aroma. Luna's eyes widened as she saw him raise a sharp shard. Despair overwhelmed her. Before she could resist, Jasper roughly flipped Luna over, turning her back to him. A piercing scream echoed in the dimly lit room filled with despair. Soon, the smell of blood filled the air. Jasper raised the shard and mercilessly plunged it into Luna's back, into her shoulder blade. Luna's vision blurred with pain, her mind reeling, and tears finally streamed down her face. No, it hurts so much. But the man seemed not to hear her at all, instead gripping the shard and scraping it against Luna's shoulder blade, as if trying to carve some kind of mark. A searing pain exploded within her, and Luna gripped the sheets tightly, almost convulsing from the agony. Before the initial throbbing pain subsided, another sharp pain shot through her other side. Luna finally cried out in agony, her stubbornness fading amidst the agony, replaced by a weak and desperate plea. You wanted to run away, didn't you? Now you know how to beg, huh? As he spoke, his grip tightened, as if trying to pierce her bones. Her pain did nothing to quell his rage. He shuddered, his dark eyes filled with bloodlust and a destructive desire. Didn't I, Jasper, say you weren't allowed to run away? You're just something I picked up at my mercy. And now you dare to run. Luna, this is the punishment you deserve. Remember this well. Hot tears soaked the sheets, but Luna bit her lip, refusing to utter a sound. She remembered it. She remembered that excruciating pain. Cry it out. His reddened eyes fixed on her delicate body. Jasper reached out and grabbed her straight, jet black hair tightly. She was forced to raise her head, her face appearing in the moonlight. Though still retaining some childishness, the beauty beneath that innocence was breathtaking. The wound was aggravated, and the sharp pain made Luna shudder. But Luna stubbornly bit her lower lip, refusing to cry out. Her stubbornness only earned her more brutal and merciless abuse from Jasper. With a cold laugh, Jasper casually tossed away the broken pieces. He stepped over the trembling body and off the bed, his footsteps fading into the distance. Luna ignored him, struggling to get up while he was gone, but to no avail. Just then, another strong scent of alcohol wafted into her nostrils, followed by footsteps approaching the bedside. She struggled to lift her head, meeting a pair of deep, dark eyes, now churning with despair. Suddenly, a cold, merciless smile appeared on the man's lips. This time, want to taste this wine? Hearing this, her eyes widened in horror. This scent of alcohol was somewhat familiar. No. Luna shook her head dazedly, her body involuntarily crawling to the side, terrified by the bloodlust and violence in the man's eyes. But he grabbed her wrist, and with a whoosh, he poured the liquor from the bottle onto her back. Her vision went black, and a piercing scream escaped her lips. Blood mixed with liquor flowed onto the sheets from her back, crimson and dazzling, possessing a strangely alluring beauty. On her beautiful shoulder blades, there were marks of broken wings, the mark of a demon. "Jasper, what are you doing?" Luna managed to utter a sound, but it was unusually hoarse, filled with despair. That man was burning her wounds with fire. Pain, at this moment, all she could feel was pain. The smell of burning quickly filled the air, and finally Luna collapsed onto the bed, lifeless. Hot tears soaked the sheets. She even felt herself on the verge of death. However, just as she was about to faint, the man's kiss landed again, bringing her back to consciousness. "I'll make you mine. See if you dare to run away again." The man's voice was hoarse, his hot breath on her back sending a shiver down her spine. "Jasper, I beg you, let me go." Tears streamed down her lips as she pleaded desperately. A tearing pain shot through her scalp as he grabbed her hair again, forcing her to turn around. In a desperate posture, she dared not look directly into his deep eyes. Jasper raised his head, his eyes already misty, but when he saw that face, a flash of violence crossed his mind. That youthful face was so beautiful it filled him with rage. He hated her. Ugh. He grabbed her hair roughly, pressing down on her with impatient urgency, his burning kiss instantly enveloping her. Using his knee to pry open her desperately closed legs, he growled, thrusting in with domineering force. No. Too inexperienced, the pain of her first time made her dizzy, her body feeling as if it were being torn apart again. By dawn, she was almost dead. The excruciating pain in her back, the excruciating pain in her lower body, constantly reminded her that Jasper was the devil. But the angel, her wings broken, dared not disobey the devil again. At the tender age of 16, she blossomed in her most beautiful moments, becoming the devil's woman in the most beautiful way. She would rely on Jasper's family's power to investigate the cause of her father's death. Jasper took her in, retaliated against her, and tormented her. She would accept reality and use his power for her own purposes. For years later, in H City. This is a modern metropolis of extreme luxury and extravagance, and the Jasper Group's headquarters are located in the city center. Early spring, the sun shining brightly, yet a chill still lingered in the air. Luna, dressed in a business suit and black high heels, followed the large entourage into the lobby, immediately attracting many eyes. At 20 years old, she had just graduated from university. Without even a vacation, had come here with Jasper. And she was no longer the girl who liked to stand silently in the corner. The somewhat aloof girl had shed her naivete and unexpectedly matured. Tall and capable, with a shapely figure, cascading long hair, and an angelic face, she was enough to attract all eyes. That must be Mr. Jasper. He's so handsome and young. And he has such a powerful aura. Hey, who's that woman next to him? I heard she's the newly appointed president's secretary, but judging from her appearance, she probably used some underhanded tactics. However, Luna just smiled and didn't seem to care. Perhaps it was due to her many experiences from a young age, or perhaps it was her nature, but Luna's demeanor appeared somewhat cold and aloof. Although the girls were resentful and jealous, they didn't dare to say anything. Just then, Jasper, who was walking at the front, suddenly stopped. Luna, who was behind him, almost bumped into him. Seeing Jasper turn around and flash her a wicked smile, Luna was puzzled. But when he forcefully pulled her shoulder to stand beside him, Luna understood, and a cold smile bloomed on her lips. Sure enough, the girl's gazes became even more envious. On her first day at work, did he already want the whole company to know that she was his woman? In the elevator, only the two of them were present. Everyone else waited for the next group. Luna remained expressionless, her usual indifference unchanged, only looking ahead and saying to the man beside her, "Let go, there's no one here." "Oh? You're letting go just because there's no one here?" To everyone's surprise, Jasper raised an eyebrow and said this with a wicked smile. Startled, Luna turned around, her gaze meeting his deep, dark eyes, and in an instant, Everything seemed to be hollowed out. His eyes were like that, pitch black and deep, like a pool of stagnant water covered with a thin layer of ice. "Luna, you've always been my woman. Why would I let go?" The man's voice was hoarse as he spoke, his handsome face drawing closer. He pulled Luna's head into his arms, and a passionate, domineering kiss descended, quickly penetrating her lips. His tongue sweeping over her dense, soft, and sweet flesh. His kisses were always so fiery, yet tinged with a touch of coldness. Domineering, yet utterly possessive. Luna, carrying a cup of hot coffee, came out of the break room and headed straight for the CEO's office, ignoring the complex, scrutinizing gazes of those around her. "Mr. Jasper, the coffee is ready," Luna said, placing the cup of Blue Mountain coffee in front of Jasper. In the sunlight, the black coffee gleamed with a golden light, its fragrant aroma instantly filling the entire office. Jasper indifferently raised his head, not drinking the coffee, but staring at the tall, sexy woman before him. Luna understood, immediately opening the folder in her hand and beginning to report his schedule for the day. After reporting, Jasper raised an eyebrow and uttered 2 words with a wicked smile. "Anything else?" Luna glanced at the last line, paused, and then softly began, "Meeting with Miss Stella at the Green Hotel at 9 o'clock tonight." And Miss Stella was a movie star who had risen to fame quickly by attaching herself to Mr. Jasper, rumored to be one of his many mistresses.